spells to really break it apart.
Now, you didn't miss anything. Our players just set their hands down. Those sort of 5-set spell and traps on either side. Looks like Rudolph's going first, though, with Fire Kings.
All right, that is definitely ideal for Rudolph. Thinking through his plays a little bit. Doesn't seem like it's going to be as simple of a start for him.
Oh, no, it might be Oscar. Because we did not get to see the die roll this time, so just waiting for somebody to drop a card. There we go. So it is Oscar.
And then we're going to be leading with the Fenrir. So this brings us to an interesting point in the Kashtira strategy. There has been a popular combo lately where you're able to add the Kashtira Rise Heart, normal summon it, key part here, normal summon it, and then go into, after using its effect, of course, into a Mecha Phantom Beast Draco Sack, and then just being able to link off the tokens, make 2 copies of Link Spider into Earth Golem G or whatever. And
that's incredible. I thought we got rid of Aurora Dawn. Joking, of course, but it's true that those tokens being able to be used as links really gives something else to the Kashtira package. It's not just about Xyz summoning, as long as, just like you said, you don't use Kashtira Rise Heart's effect.
Yeah, Kashtira Rise Heart only locks you into Xyz summoning if you special summon it from the hand. Same thing with Kashtira Theosis, it will lock you into Xyz summoning for the rest of the turn after you use its effect on field. So as long as you avoid those, you are able to link summon. So you can go and use this combo to go into something along the lines of Dekotak or Heat Soul, get a draw in, maybe climb a little bit further into an SP Little Knight or an Appaloosa, just to protect your plays from something along the lines of Nibiru, and then just, again, do standard Kashtira things. But sometimes just leaving the Kashtira monsters on the field is a little bit more ideal. But it looks like we are going to be hitting a rank 7 here. Is it going to be the Shangri-La, or is it going to be Mecha Phantom Beast Draco Sack?
Wow, Draco Sack. I haven't seen that hit the top table since 2013's NAWCQ, but it is definitely working itself out. Removing that material of Kashtira Fenrir, and let's go ahead and see some tokens.
Likely these tokens are going to be immediately linked off into a Link Spider each.
Now, let's talk a little bit briefly about why you might want to have kept those Kashtira monsters on the board, especially for our viewers who maybe haven't seen Kashtira on the top tables in a while. Each of those monsters has an effect that can activate after your opponent uses one, and it banishes something face down. With the Fenrir, it would have banished a monster face down or a card that was face up from the field. With the Unicorn, it would have snatched a card from the extra deck face down, but looks like we're going for the links instead, and it's just like what you said.
Yep, the G Golem will bring back the Link Spider. Going to be able to use those 2 Cyberse monsters, an Earth and a Water, into Heat Soul. Yep. Heat Soul's going to be able to pay 1,000 life points. Going to be able to draw 1 card here.
Certainly great to see it. Haven't decided to make any other moves there. Certainly the Kashtira Birth, just getting that so fast, does give you the ability to special summon another monster. And it looks like we're doing that now with the Kashtira Fenrir in defense mode.
Yeah, the Birth allowing you to just keep the most important Kashtira being Fenrir. That is the one that actually removes a monster, or not a monster, any face-up card on the field. Unicorn being able to go after your extra deck has been really important in the past, but it looks like it might not even be a choice here. You're able to just get both.
Just an incredible card, and it shows you, like, these cards were so powerful in last year's North America World Championship qualifier. We saw lots of Kashtira mirror matches, but Oscar's showing up and saying, no, this is still a good deck.
So now, this play can leave you with a bit of a problem. You have now locked yourself into Xyz monsters, and you've left up the Heat Soul and the Draco Sack. You could have gone into Appaloosa, but you're opting to prioritize the draw here. If your opponent has a copy of Nibiru the Primal Being, your entire field might disappear.
Certainly, but maybe he's not worried about. Maybe he just banished those Nibiru the Primal Beings with Kashtira Rise Heart's effect of banishing those top 3 cards face down.
Yeah, I suppose if they were in the top of the deck, I don't think either player was really worried about them at this point.
Passing that over for a quick cut. Certainly big Master Duel vibes. Anybody who's recently been playing that has definitely seen this field pop up, and it's just great to see that Draco Sack again at the top tables.
I believe the Rise Heart and the Unicorn will now be overlaid for a copy of Kashtira Shangri-La. There it is. So on the opponent's turn, or sorry, just during the standby phase, Shangri-La will trigger to be able to special summon a Kashtira monster from the deck, getting back that Unicorn.
¿Tienes algo que activar? No. Perfecto.
Heat Soul priority in the draw phase, or not priority, but like once past priority.
Right, so for a low price of 1,000 life points, drawing an extra card there.
That does put Oscar at 6,000. And now in the standby phase, we are free to use the Shangri-La.
Now, I wonder if we're pulling some heartstrings in the chat. Is this the first time many of them have been cheering for Kashtira?
I feel like it's more likely that they're rooting for Fire King at this point.
It's true. It's two heavy-hitting decks that do a lot going up against one another, and sometimes that can feel monolithic, right? You're staring up at these big Kashtira monsters, you're staring at these big Fire Kings, and you're not sure what you would do, but it's time to see what they do against each other.
I just don't know anyone that likes Kashtira, man.
I love Kashtira. I'm sorry, everyone. It's just a cool deck. You know, you look at all the art and you see them converting all of those, you know, parts of the different planets into those face-down cards.
Yeah, I guess the lore-wise, it's cool. Sitting across from it is just a different experience entirely.
Yes, it's great when you're Kashtira Rise Hard. It's bad when you're everybody else.
Rudolph really pondering his opening play here. He's going to be leading with a Snake Eye Ash. It's going to be able to resolve, going to be able to get the Poplar, trigger the Poplar, but the Fenrir is going to be able to go after the Ash immediately if he wants to, and then Unicorn's going to be able to go after a card in the extra deck from the Poplar.
Now, we've seen a lot of commonality between all of these extra decks on the Fire King Snake Eye side. What is it that you would go for first? I feel like if I was doing the Unicorn, I would desperately want to go ahead and grab the Link Karibo to maybe stop any of the dodging, but what about you?
I mean, yeah, I think any one of is probably what you want to go for. If you see that there's only one copy of Promethean Princess, you absolutely go for that.
True, true.
But outside of that, maybe just any form of removal. Like, I think something along the lines of World Seas Atlantis could be a really easy pickup, because one of the more powerful resources that the Kashtira strategy has against the Fire King strategy specifically is the rank 7 in... let's see if he even plays it here. Oh, no, surprising to see it not here, but the Harmonizer.
Oh, I love Harmonizer so much, and considering that it benefits from having different attributes attached to it, if the only attribute you're staring at fire, well, it's a really easy fix to go ahead and grab one of those cards from the graveyard, slap it underneath Harmonizer, and then just be safe from there.
Yeah, Atlantis makes it a really easy out. You're able to banish them, the monsters, and summon it back in face-down defense position, making it really easy to go after. But outside of that, it's a little tricky.
Certainly is. But now we're staring things down. Rudolph's got to make a decision here with 4 cards in hand.
You can feel how tense both these duelists are. Going after the Little Knight, that's always a strong target as well.
Certainly, certainly so. It keeps any of your own monsters from being banished from the field, and to a degree, it keeps your Xyz materials safe, because if those Xyz monsters leave the field, well, those materials are going to detach themselves.
Shangri-La could have locked a zone there because the card was banished face down.
We haven't seen zone blockers on the top tables in a while either.
Según yo, este tendría que resolver, ¿no? En resolución.
He's declaring the effect of Shangri-La to lock the zone now.
I banished 1 card from him. I'm asking from the timing to activate this card.
So it's absolutely true that you can basically keep slapping on those, well, zone blockers, right? What it is every time there's a card that's banished face down, Kashtira Shangri-La is going to be able to lock a zone. What I mean by that is no card can be played in that zone.
So Chainlink 1 Shangri-La, or sorry, Chainlink 1 Poplar, Chainlink 2 Shangri-La from its trigger, and then now on the last bit of the chain, Ghost Mourner is going to be using its effect on the Poplar because it was summoned in this chain.
Ghost Mourner is certainly a great card for all stages of the duel. That extra effect damage really can help sometimes.
On a Poplar, it's probably okay. You can take it a little bit. But hey, anything more than 0.
Every life point counts, as we've seen for some of these duels ending in time, unfortunately. Just so hesitant to make a move, and understandable. Kashtira, again, monolithic, giant, level 7 monsters with huge stats and powerful effects.
Yeah, it seems like Kashtira Unicorn has been used, but we still have yet to use... oh, actually, probably the Fenrir went after the Ash Blossom, and then that's when the Kirin was used in the hand. Reminiscent of a unicorn, but not quite.
Certainly a lot of Kirins floating around since the last couple of months. So we are going to go ahead and make sure we calculate that effect damage, because we did have Poplar leave the field.
I believe it's 700 damage. I think it is 789, right? 700 from Poplar, 800 from Ash, 900 from Oak. But Poplar is going to be able to put itself or the Ash in the spell and trap zone. It looks like there's going to be another card in the chain. Oh, nope. Okay, so we are now going to be using the Diabell Star to get rid of the Flame Burge here. In a new chain, we're going to be able to activate the Flame Burge to summon back those 2 level 1s in the graveyard, and Diabell Star is going to be able to set a Sinful Spoil spell or trap.
Well, finally getting in, certainly don't have to worry as much. That is one of the technical weaknesses here. Once you get rid of all those scary Kashtira effects, notice there's not really much left that's active on that board, right? We've already used Kashtira, Shinra, Ira to special summon. We've already used Unicorn and Fenrir. Draco Sack isn't doing anything except getting ready to make tokens next turn. And we've also used Decode Talker Heat Soul's draw effect. So at this point, Rudolph basically can play unmitigated unless there's some point of interaction in Oscar's hand.
See, I was about to say he should probably activate that Sinful Spoil spell right now while he only had 2 cards in his graveyard, because Kashtira Birth, if you activate a spell card while the Kashtira monster is on the field, you are able to banish exactly 3 cards from the graveyard.
Well, he may not be thinking about it, but now he is.
Okay, well, now you don't have to worry about it anymore. Going straight into Nightmare Phoenix, going to eliminate the Kashtira Birth, and I think going for that game shot is extremely easy now. All interruptions are used. It's just any other points of interaction from Oscar's hand at this point. It's a really clear line from Raging Phoenix into the Zelantis.
Absolutely. Looks like both Oscar and I were confused. We saw the bonfire and thought it might be a spell, but you're right. It was the Nightmare Phoenix discard to go ahead and get rid of the Birth. Getting rid of the Birth is super important, right? You no longer have access to those extra free normal summons of a level 7 monster. You don't have the spell being able to be banished from the graveyard. You do not have the ability to special summon either. So it means that if we can't finish this turn from Rudolph's side, there's at least less follow-up on the other end.
Rudolph, however, sequencing this entire turn extremely well, knowing how to get the Poplar value toward the end there. Didn't use it in the beginning because he knew he was going to be able to summon it back with the Flame Bridge, making the Nightmare Phoenix not taking any risks, and then after that being able to put it in the Spell and Trap Zone off of its own effect, sending it for the Sinful Spoils, getting access to the Ponix, and it seems like you were barely interrupted at all.
Holding on to those last 2 cards, but at this point really, if you're cheering for Rudolph, you need to see those Kashtira monsters go to the graveyard fast. Now, it's a little harder to get rid of Kashtira, Shinra, Ira because of its protection effect from detaching materials, but any one of these monsters left on the field can really get you back in the game, right? Kashtira Fenrir could grab something, Kashtira Unicorn could do the same, but now we're going to see Fire King Island, right? And still thinking, though.
I mean, he might want to go into something along the lines of Appaloosa just to try to protect his plays a little bit more, because... Oh, okay, he's just going to go straight into Princess. He did have a line, if he wanted to just play around Nibiru exclusively, go into Appaloosa and then make the Zelantis, but never actually use its effect.
Well, he might be confident regardless of the Nibiru, thinking to himself, honestly, it would be kind of cool if we lost all the monsters on my opponent's field, because then that would be an easier way to get through Kashtira, Shinra, Ira, but instead we're going to go and move it to the Spell and Trap Zone and send those materials to the graveyard.
So that's already 1 monster out of the way. We can activate the Sanctuary now. There are only 2 cards in Oscar's hand. Even if it was Nibiru the Primal Being, that's not a card you really want to resolve as a Kashtira player. You need to be able to clear your own Nibiru if you want to start playing, unless you have another copy of Kashtira Birth.
No, absolutely. So just depends. Oscar's still thinking. He doesn't seem like he's downtrodden or out of the duel, just sort of watching his opponent, making sure that each of those moves is something that he may want to jump in on. But we're going back in the deck here and grab an Aegir Runix.
So, okay, this is something that I'm a little bit surprised to see. Because you could have gone straight for Arvada here if you wanted to just kind of skip this line, because now the Kirin has to summon the Grunix in your hand anyway, because the Ponix is on the field, and you're not allowed to use the Link Rebo because you are under Promethean Princess, so unfortunately you will not be able to do that.
We can't do that. You absolutely cannot.
But it wouldn't be an issue as long as you didn't activate the Grunix, because the Kirin could summon the Grunix.
There we go. No habla español, but I definitely understood you cannot link Haribo right now because it's a dark monster, and Promethean Princess has locked you in a fire while it's on the field. So we're just going to make sure everybody puts those cards back. It's okay. It's considered what's called an illegal activation, but it's not a big deal.
So depending on the chain links here, this could make quite a big difference because you then wouldn't have been able to resolve the Kirin. So as long as Kirin was chain link 2, you're able to resolve it and summon the Grunix anyway, and it would just resolve essentially the same way.
Certainly, and I think that's why we're going to place the Grunix there. But let's take a look at the graveyard.
It looks like we're going to be able to at least send the Arvada now, or rather destroy.
Feels like send, but it actually is destroy, which is pretty cool. It's what makes this deck so unique, destroying directly from the deck.
Keep in mind, destroying from the deck does not send it from the deck, so you cannot Ash Blossom.
That's true. It's a nuanced difference in the language there.
It looks like that last card is Snake Eyes Birch as well, so it's another additional extender if he ever needs it. But at this point, I think the game's pretty simplified. You're not super worried about something along the lines of Nibiru. You're just going to go for it at this point. Yep.
Certainly Oscar's a patient duelist, but I could not imagine him holding Nibiru until just this moment.
I mean, I suppose like the way things have gone, he didn't really need to until he doesn't need to until the very end. He needs to hope that it's a game shot that he can Nibiru.
Certainly paying attention, obviously caught the Link Karibo just as fast as we did. Oh, hey, it's Zealantis.
Yep, it's time to go for the play. You're going to be able to summon back the Kashtira monsters, probably face down. It doesn't really matter, though. It's either face down defense position or face up attack position. But you're going to be able to summon every monster back, use the effect of Promethean Princess because a monster was special summoned to your opponent's side of the field. It does not have to be that they special summoned it. It just has to be special summoned to their side of the field. Princess will be able to destroy one fire monster you control, a monster they control. And then, because your fire monster was destroyed, you get to trigger that Raging Phoenix, summon itself back, gain all the attack of that monster you destroyed, and able to just keep it going. And then, of course, World Sea Dragon has another effect in the battle phase. Based on how many monsters are co-linked on the field, you're able to destroy up to that many cards on the field.
It's such an incredible card, but it is kind of funny that one of the best cards in the Fire King deck is a water monster. We got to see how good it was earlier in Jesse Cotton's duel, doing the same thing to replace all the monsters on the board. So it looks like we're going to go ahead and splash. You can almost imagine World Sea Dragon Zealantis splashing down the field, all the monsters just flying up into the sky and then dropping down in these different zones.
The only thing I'm worried about is, does he have enough zones? Because he will not be able to summon the Raging Phoenix because the Princess will take up that zone, but I don't think it matters. I think this is just enough damage anyway.
Certainly helps not having those Xyz materials anymore anyway. So obviously the Kashtira monsters have been reset, but they've already used their effects this turn, so they cannot use their effect again.
No, yo pregunto,
Yep, opting to just destroy the Asher, knowing that he's not going to be able to use the Raging Phoenix anyway.
Can he still try to summon Princess even if he don't have space?
Yes, because when you tribute...
Judges are explaining that, yeah, the Princess is going to go to the graveyard.
Summon Princess when there's no main monsters.
Yeah, yeah.
Can I read? Yeah.
Yeah, just to kind of confirm if you can activate Princess with 5 monster zones already filled up, because it would be destroying the monster and summoning it. Would the game recognize that there will be space available at resolution?
Well, luckily we have some of the greatest Yu-Gi-Oh! Judges to ever judge the game here, so we'll find out shortly. Seems like that.
Oh, are they saying you cannot?
No, maybe they're saying we can, but we haven't destroyed our fire monster yet. He might have chosen his opponent's card, and Oscar already sent it to the graveyard, but it seems like we're resolving it. Yep.
Yep, okay.
So it looks like we can. We got our answer.
And it's going to be important here that Oscar had paid 2,000 life points already. In the battle phase, you are able to destroy likely both the Kashtira monsters, and then the rest of the monsters can just go in and hit Oscar to the face, and that will be enough to clear up this game.
Sort of a tidal wave to wash away all the Kashtira.
Yep, the sigh of relief when you're allowed to enter the battle phase, no activations were met. Up, okay, leaving up the Fenrir here. Yep, and that is enough. Oscar is going to hit the concede button, and we are going to...
I guess we'll have to find out one way or the other, but I hate to say it, I would love to see some Kashtira action, so this is Oscar's last chance to show it to us.
Yeah, he's doing Kashtira things.
Is that a Starlight on top of that?
If you're going to be activating Shifter, you might as well do it nice.
Definitely.
I mean, that is exactly how you want to do it, too. Shifter into Unicorn, the #1 starter for the... Oh, into Birth. You don't even need Theosis immediately.
Everything is good here, so we're going to go ahead. And maybe that means that the Kashtira Theosis is in the hand, but either or, we're going to probably slap down that Birth now. We do get that free normal summon of a level 7 monster, so maybe the Kashtira Fenrir?
It is a Kashtira Fenrir.
Hey!
And this is the thing, when you are already resolving Dimension, you don't need to do anything else. You don't really even need to touch your extra. You can just leave up those 2 guys, and that's probably enough.
That probably is enough. Remember, Kashtira Fenrir, for those who don't know what his effect is, although how could you? It's such a common and powerful card. It's going to be able to banish a card that's face up on the other side of the field, and then Dimension Shifter is what got us in here, right? Until the end of the next turn, no cards are going to the graveyard. They are going to get banished instead.
So we'll see how far Oscar decides to go, or if he just tries to keep most of his cards close to his chest. He just wants to have follow-up, right?
I feel like unless you have maybe access to a Kashtira Rise Heart, you're probably going to end here. Maybe you would make a Kashtira Shangri-Ira and then special summon one of the other monsters back out. But I wouldn't want to do that if I didn't have access to that extra free level 7. It is strong to just have Kashtira Unicorn and Kashtira Fenrir.
I mean, it would only... He summoned twice so far. 2 more summons keep you still under Nibiru range to just summon the Shangri-La. I think it's worth it. And you get to hit 3 cards from the top of your opponent's deck, which isn't negligible.
No, it honestly could be the 3 cards that he needs, especially since there are 1-ofs here and there, and we are going to go ahead and banish a Kashtira card, so we're special summoning it. I think we are going to see that play. It's going to be just those 4 summons and then getting out before it gets ugly.
Yep, and then putting out another Fenrir in the banished. At least this way, Birth can do something if he manages to keep the Fenrir on the field. You know, there's keeping little things available, right?
So it looks like we're going to go ahead and banish those top 3 cards. Taking a quick look there. Didn't see Rudolph Grimace or anything, just taking note of those cards, so maybe it wasn't anything that was too big of a deal.
Yeah, not really trying to lose the Flamebridge, Original Sinful Spoils, or even the Ponix this early, or maybe the Garunix.
Oh, goodness, yeah.
End phase.
Looks like we're proceeding to end phase. We're just going to go with these cards. He made exactly the plays you expected, and I think the standby phase is going to have some fun Kashtira action, too.
All right, it looks like 2 copies of Ash Blossom, an Infinite Impermanence, an Oak.
Perfect.
That's, How much do you... you probably Ash that and then Imperm the Fenrir, right? Okay, well...
Entonces,
I feel like I would have taken the line of play that you did, right? If you Ash Blossom the Kashtira, there's nothing that Kashtira Fenrir could banish right now. So obviously that keeps it, you know, sort of muted. Then you use the Infinite Permanence on it and then begin your plays.
It's either that or like, well, I mean, even at that point, I probably would have ashed it for several reasons because I think you might have to pass your turn. I don't think you're able to play into this right now.
Well, it looks like we're going to go ahead and activate Bonfire. Sort of difficult, though, because even using the effect of Poplar to special summon it will put Kashtira Fenrir in a position to gobble it up. So we passed the Poplar. I think maybe he can hear me. Of course, the players can't, but it is just the same line of thinking. Maybe I don't put that monster on the board so I can special summon it, because if I did, I might lose it.
I wonder, this is something I've seen a little bit niche, but some players have taken the opportunity to play, because you've summoned so many level 1 monsters, you can play a plethora of rank 1s, right? Maybe something along the lines of the Duelist that makes it so you can't be destroyed by battle, or even Kikanagachi Fucho.
Oh, right. There are so many cool things in the same way that we got to see Shunping use some various level 4 or rank 4 Xyz. Possibly using a rank 1 Xyz would be just as neat.
Okay.
Looks like we probably need... Oh, we did not normal summon. Okay, so we did use this effect to special summon, so we are going to go ahead and banish it. Doesn't mean you don't get to access your deck, so let's go ahead and see what next card he pulls out.
Is it going to be the Temple? I do see Temple in his deck.
Thinking about it. Take a quick look at the hand for reference, and it's Temple time.
He's going to at least buy him some time, maybe. Still has those Ash Blossoms to try to keep him around, but using the Ash Blossom after putting a card face up on the field, not ideal when there's a Kashtira Fenrir facing you down.
Right, looks like we're going to go ahead and grab another Snake Eye from the deck, but you are absolutely right. Every time you are activating a monster effect with these Kashtiras on the board, you're risking it, right? You're risking losing everything, and even though we don't have any cards in the graveyard now, it's true that eventually those are going to stack up, and Kashtira Birth adds another problem to the mix.
Honestly, I feel like you should at least take solace in you got hit with Dimension Shifter when they were going first. So you have a game where you get to start, and hopefully it doesn't happen again.
True. Rudolph's in a good position from taking that first duel.
Is that a copy of Nibiru in his hand? I think it is.
And that's why he's setting and passing with an Ash Blossom Nibiru and not much else. That is the end of his turn.
Ese es cuando hago normal o special, se pasa uno adelante.
Exactly. When a monster is normal special summoned by your opponent, you are able to special summon a monster that is a continuous spell in either spell or trap zone.
I think that's a great example, again, of the sort of duelists without borders attitude, right? We can understand the duelists because you just know what they're doing.
It helps that I speak Spanish.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. You could be my interpreter.
There is the Ash Blossom now. The Fenrir will be able to go after either the Temple or the Snake Eye Ash there.
Perfect.
Oscar immediately activating it. Taking a sec to think. Certainly could just grab another Kashtira Unicorn.
Oh, it's going to be a Rise Heart here.
Interesting.
Oh, so we didn't opt to actually go after one of the face-up cards after the Ash Blossom.
interesting. I'm not sure. He might be saving it for the attack. Remember, there are two ways that Kashtira Fenrir can use that powerful effect. It's when your opponent uses an effect or when Kashtira Fenrir attacks.
I think he wants to make his push now because he's been given, I mean, he knows what happens if you give Fire King a turn when they're able to access their graveyard, right? He doesn't have enough interruptions, and now it looks like the Snake Eye Ash is going to be able to hit the field and just put up some form of interruption, or not interruption, but rather at least some bodies to protect yourself, while also generating some value, right?
Certainly do need protection. When Kashtira does get its game plan going, it is just a bunch of bruisers trying to beat you up. But by having some defense mode monsters, at least the life points are a little safer. Certainly a lot of time on the clock, too. I don't think we're going to go to time on this duel, but it just depends on who wins this one.
I wonder if Ash is going to add another Poplar just to put more bodies on the field, or if you're not risking having both of your Poplars banished and you're just going to grab another copy of Snake Eye Ash at this point.
Maybe the right thing to do, because again, look at that banish pile. It is stacking up, and those face-down cards are not coming back.
So that is a zone that is being locked by the effect of Kashtira Shangri-La.
So again, for those of you at home, Kashtira Shangri-La, every time a card is banished face down, can pick a zone on the opponent's side of the field and lock it for being used. That face down card is not a token. It is just going to be used as our zone marker. So when you see a face down Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game card without a sleeve, you cannot be in that zone.
Now the effect of Kashtira Birth is activated. Special summon the banished Kashtira Unicorn. Unicorn immediately activating its effect, going to be able to add a Kashtira spell or trap from the deck, or sorry, spell, just spell, from deck to hand.
I mean, it's good. It's good. We need a Kashtira Ogre for the traps. Oscar thinking about the next Kashtira play.
He is now summoned twice. This is going to be number 3.
So it's got to be an attribute other than fire. We could see an appearance from Kashtira Ogre.
That one makes a lot of sense because it does have to be summoned in defense position. The best one is the one that can attack while in defense position.
Definitely, and it stops the effects of your opponent's monsters when they're battling.
Does it also do piercing damage? I feel like it does.
I feel like it might. It's been a minute since we've actually had that come up, but with those face-down Snake Eye monsters having such low defense points, it's probably worth giving a look into Yu-Gi-Oh! Neuron.
I need to... Do you have a calc? Oh, no, right?
And Survey says...
He's just trying to do some math really quickly.
Looks like we're not doing any piercing battle damage on that one, but it is negating the monster's effects until the end of this turn.
I don't know why. It gives the feeling that it would.
You would think so. There's a lot of cool stuff that the Scareclaw stuff goes, and here's Scareclaw Kashtira, so you can see it at home. It's a great card, whether you're using it in a Scareclaw strategy or Kashtira. Hey, you could use both in a full-on Manadium combo.
And then Tribute Summoning Vanity's Fiend.
Oh,
okay, that's
goodness.
enough. That'll do.
That'll do, that'll do. Famous card that's going to prevent. That's the effects. No effects can be activated, right?
No special summons at
Oh,
all.
it's the special summons. Okay, I'm thinking the other one.
Majesty's Fiend, yeah.
Majesty's Fiend, that's right.
This is the classic, the original, straight out of, I want to say, Cyberdark Impact.
Oh, man. Hey, we're
Bellstar
celebrating.
as well as Snake Eye Ash opening. That is the best opening you can have. It's what he used to start off the game, one, and able to conquer the Kashtira field.
I love how careful these duelists are, just really making sure I'm not going to pick up my cards, so the judges tell me to go ahead and get playing.
Oh, wow, that might be one of the worst hands I've ever seen.
Oh, no. That means Kashtira might have a chance for those cheering for it.
Because I think that last card is a copy of Flamebird, so it's Arvada, Flamebird, Double Ash, Veiler.
That doesn't do much, but one card could get you in the game.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to normal. This is weird, because this is a strong play into a lot of decks, because you're at least able to have one interruption, or as strong as a stretch.
Arvada pass.
Strong as a stretch.
Hey, but think about it. We already know how small the Kashtira engine is and how fragile it can be. Imagine, technically, Arvada could get something done, but with the Dimensional Fissure on board and the Pressure Planet Rate Sauce, we're going right to Kashtira Town, unless Ash Blossom is discarded.
And hopefully there are no monsters, but is that a call by? Are you going to chain call by right now?
Special.
Oh, no, okay. It's just, you summon Fenrir, and the game is over.
Well, you wouldn't be able to call by, obviously, but yeah, the Fenrir is going to change things up here. Obviously, just doing some battle damage.
7.
Yeah, you know that your opponent's hand is very weak here when you're able to just go into an Arvada pass. No Snake Eyes to really speak of. And now you have Dimensional Fissure on lock. Fenrir, main phase 2, just able to get access to your engine and just do everything you need to do in main phase 2. You're not really worried about anything anymore.
Absolutely. You know, Dimensional Fissure is such a powerful card. You know it could be a scary card when it's such a small sentence. Look at how few words of text are on that card. And those are usually the ones that are the biggest, the most powerful cards. Your Harpies, Feather Dusters, your Raigekis, or in this case, banishing all these cards instead of letting them go to the graveyard.
Yep. Look at Oscar not committing anything else, knowing his opponent's hand's weak, not attempting to allow him to activate any of them. And that was one of the strongest top decks you could get, a Snake Eye Ash. But into a Fenrir as well as Dimensional Fissure, I don't think it's going to be enough anymore.
Rudolph certainly not slamming down that Ash on the table until just now. Deciding what may happen here.
He's just going to chain the Infinite Permanence, and then you're going to still be able to banish it with the Fenrir. You know that was the card from the top of the deck, otherwise it would have been summoned last turn.
And so there it goes.
All right, and that's going to be past the turn. Fenrir is going to be able to use its effect again. But it's going to be a little harder to summon those monsters now at this point without a copy of Kashtira Birth.
It is difficult because even if you search out the Kashtira Unicorn, how are you going to get onto the field without Kashtira Birth? So maybe grabbing the Kashtira Rise Heart?
At this point, you can grab Scareclaw Kashtira, banish whatever with the Kashtira Rise Heart, and then just potentially add it back with a... Sorry, banish whatever you have with Kashtira Scareclaw, and then banish a Theosis to add it back.
True, you can. Looks like we're doing a little slightly different sequencing. No, okay. Going to banish the Kashtira Birth.
Right, you want to have that accessible, so at any point you're able to banish a Kashtira Theosis, you can go ahead and add that back. Looks like we're going to be losing a Poplar, a Kirin, as well as the Oak, I think.
Banishing your cards to get the back is not something we see in every deck, right? I think only like Branded Chimera is doing that right now, but that's certainly neat to see it. But the Ash Blossom is going to stop the attempt to do that with the Kashtira Theosis.
Well, now if he was able to use Fenrir to add the Scareclaw Kashtira, the Theosis is going to be able to just add back that Birth. He's thinking here.
Such a great, gorgeous card. Remember, for those of you hearing in the background, the freeze play, that only applies to the rest of the tournament. Our match still has at least 8 minutes left.
Looks like he's going to be hitting the overlay network. Or no, maybe just for a tribute summon of Kashtira Unicorn.
Oh, but it's so good. You need that Kashtira Unicorn so bad. Getting Kashtira Birth is really integral to getting this engine online effectively. Doesn't feel like an engine, right? It's a few isolated cards that share those names, but it's true that Kashtira Unicorn is what's holding the team together.
Gonna be able to use the effect, get back that Fenrir, and at this point, everything is where it needs to be.
Declaro con 2-7, efecto.
26 because of the boost of the Raid Soth.
Exactly, and I'm interested to see what the Unicorn is going to get rid of with this effect. He knows his opponent's on the back leg, but it's also possible that he still gets rid of Zealantis, so he never sees that again.
At this point, it probably is Little Knight or Nightmare Phoenix just to protect the Dimensional Fissure, right? Oh, no, he looks like he's scared. He's going after the Raging Phoenix.
Okay. That is what really enables Zealantis to be as good as it is, but we also might be taking... Oh, there's so many...
Just going after the Raging Phoenix, not taking any risks there.
Shows you, I mean, that play left an impression on him.
Is the total damage you're doing also including the plus 200 from the field spell?
Yep.
Okay, how much damage is it?
So this is 53, 4K.
That's what I meant, by the way, about Kashtira Birth. You see all those little boxes in the background? I always imagine those to be the face-down cards, right? They are literally converting a planet into face-down cards.
700.
I never thought of it that way. It's one way to
terraform. If you look at each of the Kashtira cards, you can see all of them like hauling away these boxes. What are in them? I just imagine them to be, well, Fire Kings, Snake Eyes. Oh no, and that's the game. Showcasing a hand of only Ghost Sister, Flamberge, and Effect Veiler. Great cards in their own right, but not enough to get you out of this duel.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those problems with decks like this. That you play so much non-engine.